What's up? What's up? What's up? Happy Sunday. You know what day it is. It's Sunday. It's your favorite day of the week. And I am your favorite astrologer, Mel of Divine Feminine Works. As always, I hope that this live or this replay finds you in excellent spirits. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. This channel is everything tarot, astrology, spirituality, and manifestation. So if those are the things you like, if those are the things you love, if those are the things that you want to learn more about, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you'll always be notified when I come out with new content. And for even more content, head over to Instagram and hit that follow button. I've got loads of excellent daily content. I also go live every Thursday night, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time for live tarot readings by sign. All right. So I've got you covered on all bases. All right. So happy Sunday. Happy Easter. Happy Resurrection Day. If you are celebrating Ramadan, happy Ramadan. I know it's the middle of Passover as well, so happy Passover. There's so much going on at this time, so much going on this week, as a matter of fact, and I am here to break it all down for you astrologically, all right? But before I get into the technicalities of everything that's going on this week, let's just have a general conversation, real brief, about this time of year and about what's going on, all right? So we are right in the middle of spring. We are at the tail end of Aries season. Obviously, spring sort of came into full force last month at the spring equinox, but this time in particular, with it being Holy Week and with all of these religious and even pagan holidays going on right now, it feels like now is really like the essence of spring, right? We're all being reminded and we're all sort of in this process of renewal. And that's the whole essence of spring, right? It's about renewal. What was once dead, that died during the winter, is now coming back up and blooming and full of life in spring. And obviously, not only does the astrology reflect this, but the holidays, particularly at this time, are reflecting it as well. So a lot of us are going through transformations, personal transformations, that are extremely important, especially heading into eclipse season, which I will be definitely getting into next week. But it's about transformation. And if you take the opportunity to really engage in personal transformation right now, obviously it's going to transform you. Obviously, your life is going to change, but there's a certain spiritual element to that as well. And it's about spiritual ascension. I feel like all of the major religions and the major religious holidays going on right now are reflecting this. The astrology is definitely reflecting this, particularly with the full moon in Libra that we experienced last night. So this is a really pivotal time for a lot of us. And it's not to say that it's going to be easy. I mean, transformation is never easy, right? It involves a bit of obstacles, it involves a bit of uncomfortability, but that's the essence of leveling up, right? It's being able to traverse those obstacles and come out greater on the other side, more wise, and just elevated and ascended. So again, this is a very important time. I feel like this week is going to be really important in terms of personal development. And this week is going to show us a lot about ourselves, about others. Particularly, again, we're still riding the wave of that energy of the full moon in Libra, which is all about our relationships, right? But our relationships are really a reflection of us. And with Pluto in the mix with this full moon, it's about transforming ourselves in order to see that change reflected back to us in our relationship. So that energy of the full moon, is still very potent, and we're still feeling it right now. We're still going to be feeling it for the next couple of days. Some astrologers will even say that between the full moon and the new moon, you still have that full moon energy available to you. So for the next 2 weeks, really, until the moon regenerates and we get to the new moon phase, you still have that energy of the full moon is about culmination, right? But between now and the new moon in 2 weeks, it's going to be about releasing. But I'm sort of getting ahead of myself. Let's sort of stick to the topic at hand and, what's going on for this week, okay? So the major thing we have going on this week is that we are changing signs. The sun is going to be changing signs, and we're going to enter a new zodiacal season, which is Taurus. So we've spent the last month in Aries land, right? And Aries is all about springing things back to life, bold, dynamic energy, and starting new things. So many of us over the last couple of weeks have been feeling pushed to do something new, to be bold and dynamic, to be direct, particularly when it comes to our goals and our desires, and really pay attention to what we need. And when the sun makes its way into Taurus, it's sort of like we take that energy and we stabilize it and we put in the work in order to get those things done. So, perfect example, let's say that you decided to start a new business during this Aries season. So, particularly if you're an Aries, not an Aries rising. If Aries is your 10th house, particularly some of you may have felt the desire to start a new business, go out on your own, engage and initiate an entrepreneurial journey. This is where your desire lied. And during Aries season, you were really amped about that and pumped and really motivated to do that. Now in Taurus season, when the sun moves into Taurus, this is the time where you're going to stabilize that energy and put in the work to build that empire. You know, Taurus is signified by the bull, and the bull is all about putting in that hard, laborious, methodical work. And that's pretty much where our consciousness is going to be focused when the sun moves into Taurus. It's going to be about, what do I need to do physically? What steps do I need to actually take? What work do I need to put in order to stabilize that desire to start something new? Okay. So we're going to all be feeling this very sort of stubborn, grounded, dependable, and realistic energy once the sun moves into Taurus. And again, it all depends on where it's going down in your chart, but that's pretty much where the energy is going. In terms of the moon, like I said before, we just had that full moon in Libra that happened last night. We're still in the midst of that energy, and it's all about our relationships and transforming ourselves within those relationships. Now, between now and the new moon, the moon is going to be in the waning phase, meaning that the light of the moon slowly decreases until we get to the new moon, where the moon is completely dark and it regenerates, right? So this week we have the moon in the waning gibbous phase. So this is all about releasing. Okay, this is about banishing. This is about getting rid of those things that no longer serve us. And the moon started out in the sign of Scorpio last night after the full moon in Libra, and it's making its way through Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Aquarius this week. So in terms of our emotions, I feel like the beginning of the week may be a little optimistic, a little hopeful in terms of our emotions. But as we make our way through the week, I feel like our emotions are sort of going to take a back seat. And we're really going to be focused on our thoughts, our work, and forming structure in our life. This isn't going to be an overly emotional week. It's going to be one where it's more so about discipline and hard work and sort of forging something new, but in a very sort of cerebral way, not overly emotional. Okay. And we have some interesting astrology to sort of start off the week. Okay. Things are going to be pretty intense as the week begins, but it's definitely for a purpose. Everything is really for a purpose, right? It's not like things just happen, coincidentally, or things happen for no reason. Everything has a purpose if you're willing to tap into it and actually utilize that purpose and take advantage of that purpose. And Monday's really going to give us that opportunity to do so. All right, so let's get into the week and see what we have as an overview, okay? So on Monday, we start things off with the Sun square Pluto, which is going to be a pretty sort of harsh aspect. Monday of all the days this week, I feel like Monday is going to be the day that's going to be the toughest, but it's also going to be the day where you can probably see breakthroughs, particularly in your personal development. Because we also have Mercury conjunct Uranus. And this, I'm going to get into this in a second, but this is a very interesting sort of aspect that might not rub people the right way because it's very reminiscent of Mercury retrograde. But again, I'll get into that as I sort of break down each day. All right, that same day, we have Venus sextile Uranus, which is going to allow us to be a little bit creative, a little bit spontaneous, particularly in the area of love. So that may be something that really affects people this week. And then we have the moon in Sagittarius, which is going to make things larger than life. Of all the days this week, with the moon and our emotions, I feel like Monday may be the most emotional day, where we may be more prone to being emotionally charged and emotionally triggered. But like I said, as we work our way through the week, I feel like emotions are going to take a back seat and we're really going to be in our heads a lot more. All right, then Tuesday is the star of the show because that's when we change seasons as the sun moves into the sign of Taurus. Following thereafter, on Wednesday, we have the moon moving into Capricorn. Saturday, we have the moon moving into Aquarius. And then we end the week and start next week with Mercury square Saturn and Mercury sextile Neptune. So Mercury is really doing some things this week. We've got a couple of aspects with Mercury. So a lot of our thoughts and communication are going to come to the forefront, are going to be affected, and are going to play a major part in how our week turns out. All right. So I just wanted to highlight real quick, and I think I say this every week, that astrology is really something that should be studied, right? Because it can be very technical. I'm throwing out a lot of these terms like square, sextile, 10th house, all of these other things. And if you're new to astrology, it can be really confusing and overwhelming. Even if you've just started studying astrology, you really need a strong foothold in the foundations of astrology so that you can move on to more advanced topics. So what I did was I created this thing called an astrology basics cheat sheet, which gives you all of the basics that you need to know. Think of astrology as a table, right? And it's got 4 legs upon which you can, put things on this table. And those 4 legs are the planets, the houses, the signs, and the aspects. When you know these things, you're able to definitely understand astrology better, but more importantly, you're able to read your natal chart, which is like the blueprint to your life. So as you can see, I've enumerated these 4 things. It's basically the quick and dirty on everything you need to know to get to start studying astrology. And so I put this together. It's an 11-page document and it's got you covered with all of the basics. If you're interested, it's a free download. The link is in the description box below, and it's really helpful in terms of understanding astrology. So you'll definitely want to download that. All right. I just want to throw that out there real quick. All right, so let's get into the week at hand. So Monday is the day that is going to be the most challenging of the week. And this is because we've got a lot going on in the sky and we've got this harsh aspect between the sun and Pluto, okay? So the sun is still in the sign of Aries until Tuesday. And on Monday, the sun is going to reach the 29th degree of Aries, which is a critical degree. And in astrology, it's known as the anaretic degree. This is the degree that brings everything to a boiling point. It's almost like the energy of Aries is going to be saturated at that degree. So everything pertaining to Aries, which is like fighting, conflicts, competition, being headstrong, all of that is going to come to a head on Monday. And the sun is actually exalted in the sign of Aries, meaning that the sun is treated like royalty. So its energy is extra potent. So long story short, with the sun at the anaretic degree of Aries on Monday, this is when everyone is going to feel super energized, super amped to fight for conflict. So Monday is a day that you're going to want to watch your words, which is going to be a little difficult, but I'll get to that in a second because fighting is extremely likely. This is the nuck if you buck aspect because everyone's going to be ready to pop off at a moment's notice, okay? And with a square to Pluto, this fighting is really going to be centered around emotional triggers, deeply seated emotions, emotional trauma, power, powerlessness, control. So everyone's going to feel like they need to assert their control. They need to assert their opinion. Their needs need to be met, especially if those needs are backed by, emotional triggers and emotional wounds. Like people are really going to be ready to pop the fuck off on Monday. And some of you may be feeling this already. I know I have. I've been feeling this sort of since the full moon, or sort of this underlying anger that's just been like simmering under the surface. And I feel like for many of us, that anger is going to reach the boiling point and boil over on Monday, okay? But here's the thing. Anytime we're talking about Pluto, We're talking about the possibility of transformation. So it's not just about fighting for the sake of being in control or fighting to regain some sense of power or autonomy over someone. It's always rooted in our emotions and in our subconscious. And with Pluto, if you can understand why you feel the way that you feel, why are you angry? Why are you emotionally triggered? What is it that this person is saying or doing that's triggering something within you? And why do you feel that way? If you're able to answer that question, why, it's going to give you this breakthrough that's going to be able to help you break through the barrier of this obstacle that you may have been facing for a while. So if you're angry because you feel like this person has control over you, or you always feel powerless when you're talking to this person or dealing with this person, Monday will give you the opportunity to understand why that is. And in understanding why, you can change it completely, because Pluto is all about complete, total, and profound change. So if you're able to really understand your emotions and take a hard look at them, you can change this relationship. Whoever you're angry with, whoever you're having these discussions with, you can really change the dynamic of that relationship on Monday. So you want to keep that in mind. So rather than just popping off and leaving it at that, really take some time to understand why you feel the way that you feel. Do some self-reflection. Take some quiet time. No one is saying that you shouldn't express your emotions. To the contrary, if we're at the critical degree of Aries, this is the time where you really want to express your emotions. Don't hold back. I mean, you don't want to be disrespectful or rude or, God forbid, anything turns into a physical altercation. But whatever you have on your chest, you're going to want to get it out, because here's why. At the anaretic degree of Aries, this is when things come to a head. If you let the sun move into Taurus and you're still feeling angry or you're still holding grudges, that shit is going to fester all Taurus season. So whatever you got on your chest, whatever you feel like you need to say it. Okay? All right. So before I move into the rest of the astrology, let's just take a look at Monday's chart and see this thing sort of in real time. So you'll notice that the sun is at 29 degrees Aries, and that's going to be towards the bottom right of your screen. And again, that's the anaretic degree. And it's going to be square to Pluto, which is in Capricorn, which is going to be at the bottom left of your screen. And that's at 28 degrees. That's still considered conjunction. The orb is only 1 degree, so it's still considered a conjunction. All right, then we also have Mercury conjunct Uranus in Taurus, and you'll see that towards the right side of your screen. Uranus is at 13 degrees Taurus. We've got Mercury at 15 degrees Taurus, okay? Conjunct, they're sharing the same space in the sky, and those energies are going to be mixing and melding together, but I'll get to that in a second. We've also got Venus sextile Uranus, so you'll notice Venus at the bottom of your screen in light blue. That's at 14 degrees Pisces. And that is sextile to Uranus again, which is at 13 degrees Taurus, okay? And then finally, we have the moon moving into the sign of Sagittarius. And you'll notice that at the very left side of your screen, where the moon in brown is at 0 degrees Sagittarius, all right? So that's what we have for the astrology for Monday, all right? So I've already explained Sun square Pluto. Again, you're going to want to get whatever you have off your chest, because it's only going to fester if you let that shit sit and the sun moves into Taurus, like you're going to be holding a grudge like all Taurus season. So say what you have to say. But speaking of saying what you have to say, you may find it a bit difficult to do so due to Mercury conjunct Uranus. Now, this aspect, I call it like a mini Mercury retrograde, because it sort of has the same energy. But the difference is when Mercury is retrograde, you take the energy of Mercury and all of its like fucked upness, and you really it's projected inward. So that's when your thoughts sort of mess with you, and it's a very sort of internal aspect, right? But with Mercury, which is currently going direct, conjunct Uranus, it's like Mercury retrograde, but it's expressed outwardly. So this is where your electronics are going to malfunction. You're going to have a lot of miscommunication, misunderstanding. Things are just going to be a little haywire. You may also find that you have flashes of insight, And this is what I was referring to before with it being a breakthrough day. Mercury conjunct Uranus can give you a breakthrough in terms of your thinking. So going back to Sun square Pluto, again, if you find yourself in a conflict or in a struggle with someone based on power or powerlessness, deeply seated anger, perhaps you're holding a grudge against this person, the presence of Mercury square Uranus will allow you to have a flash of insight, perhaps as to why you feel that way towards someone. That is going to allow you to have a breakthrough in that particular relationship, okay? Mercury conjunct Uranus is also like being easily distracted, jumping to conclusions, interrupting people. Your speech is going to be very blunt and direct. So again, presence of Sun square Pluto, you're already feeling like you want to fight, and the Sun is at the anaretic degree of Aries, so you're about it. You're about that life, right? And then you add Mercury conjunct Uranus, like you're tripping over your words, you're jumping to conclusions depending on what the person is saying to you. It can be like a whole mess, okay? Monday is going to be that day where you're going to really want to watch what you say. If you can avoid an argument, do so. But I get the sense that for a lot of people, you may want to have that argument. You may want to have that discussion. Me personally, I'm of the idea, especially now that I've been on this spiritual journey for a while. Arguments, conflict often give way to peace, right? Sometimes you need to have that struggle. You need to have that competition. You need to have that conflict to clear the air and to move forward better. I used to be someone definitely who would shy away from confrontation, from conflict, and it only came back to bite me in the ass. Like I was holding on to a lot of anger and resentment because I wasn't expressing it, okay? And so I'm not saying that you should just shy away from conflict because it's going to be a particularly volatile day, but I am saying that if you have something to say, if you've got something to say, and if you've got something on your chest that you need to express, do it, and do it on Monday, because the astrology is going to be ripe for it. And again, it's not just about having a conflict for conflict's sake. It's about having a breakthrough in that particular relationship. And this all ties back to the full moon in Libra that we experience on Saturday, and the energy is still going to be available to us on Monday. So this is about repairing relationships, and sometimes things got to break down so they can be built up better. And the energy of the full moon plus this Sun square Pluto, that's summing it up in a sentence. All right. So whatever you have to say it with your chest, even. Like, don't hold back either. Because Aries is not about playing small. Aries is really direct and blunt. So whatever you have to say it with your chest, get it off your chest, and then be able to clear the air. It's also about, seeing the other person's point of view, apologizing if you need to, especially if the relationship is one that you value. I mean, if you don't value it, then pop off and, be on your way. Burn that bridge if you want to. But if you value that relationship, use this energy to clear the air. All right. That's basically all I have to say about that. But also with Mercury conjunct Uranus, it's about open-mindedness. It stimulates your thinking and excitement. So for some of you who don't have this whole anger issue going on, especially with the Sun square Pluto, Monday may be a day where you have a lot of insight, where you have flashes of insight. Your intuition is also going to be lit too, because remember, we still have 4 planets in the sign of Pisces. That energy just doesn't go away because we're not mentioning it this week, or it's not at the forefront this week. But it's sort of the undercurrent of what's going on. So a lot of us are it's like your mind and your intuition are sort of going to be on the same plane. So expect flashes of insight, like $1 million ideas, things to really come to you that can really help you, particularly on your spiritual journey. Okay. So Monday can also be a very mentally stimulating day as well. Okay. It's also good for any sort of creative work because we also have Venus sextile to Uranus. So if you're a creator, if you're someone who's engaged in let me take a sip of water for a second. In the creative industries, content creation, art, music, whatever, This is your time to shine. And the great thing about Monday's astrology is that your intuition is lit. So you can definitely create from the heart. You can create something that reflects your soul, your spirit, but you're also going to be able to think about it in a mentally sort of satisfying way. Like you're going to be able to figure out how to make things work from a logical perspective as well. So Monday is a great day to get to work on anything creative. All right. So yes, with Venus sextile Uranus, you're also going to want to have a little bit of fun. And I like this aspect, particularly, juxtaposed to the Sun square Pluto, because on the one hand, we have this energy of really wanting to fight, get things on our off our chests. But then at the same time, you also have this urge to have fun, and it adds a little lightheartedness to the day. So it's almost like getting into a fight with someone, clearing the air, and then going out for a drink. That's sort of how Monday works out. So it can be pretty intense, but you can end it on a really good yet surprising note. Um, Again, it's great for artistic and creative work, especially if you work in the field of fashion. Venus sextile Uranus is like, a unique fashion style, being able to express yourself in a very unique sort of way. So if you work in the fashion industry, Monday can be a really good day for you for work in terms of creating, in terms of expressing yourself. Like it's a whole vibe, okay? It's also a great day to make new friends and lovers. Like, I feel like you have the opportunity to meet people who may not be your type, people who may be different than what you're used to. You can kind of strike up a conversation with them and, make some new friends and get some new people in your life. Particularly with the sun still in Aries on Monday, like it's gonna give you that boldness to to sort of shoot your shot. It's going to give you that energy to really stimulate your love life, stimulate your social life in a sense. So it's a good day. And I'm not saying, I really went in on Sun Square Pluto, right? Because I feel like that's a very heavy sort of energy. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's how the day is going to play out for everyone. I feel like everyone can be a little creative. Everyone can really benefit from getting things off their chest. It's not going to be so dire as I made it sound, at least not for everyone. I'm just saying that this is the energy that's available to you on that day. All right. And then we have the moon moving into the sign of Sagittarius. Okay. So, like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, this week the moon is in the waning gibbous phase. So, the moon is like decreasing in light, in illumination, and we are too, in a sense. We're sort of in this energy of powering down and getting rid of the things that we really don't need to hold on to, especially emotionally. Now, if we're talking about the moon in Sagittarius, we're talking a lot about ideas. We're talking about knowledge. We're talking about being able to see the big picture of things, right? And in seeing the big picture, you can kind of discard anything that doesn't relate to that big picture. So anything that is, anything that doesn't serve you, anything that doesn't relate to your goals, you can sort of discard it, okay? Now, the moon in Sagittarius is also about spontaneity and like winging it. And with the presence of Uranus, the strong presence of Uranus on Monday, there's going to be this energy of just sort of going with the flow, going wherever the wind takes you, especially emotionally, right? Because if we're talking about the moon, we're talking about our emotions. So there's this energy of, just being one with the wind and just going wherever your intuition takes you, okay? Now, Sagittarius energy is very larger than life. So your emotions may be larger than life. And again, coupled with everything else that's going on Monday, like this is the day that your emotions may be a little overstated, okay? Especially if you're engaged in any sort of conflict with anyone. I feel like anything they say, particularly if you're misunderstanding what they're saying, or if they are misspeaking or misstating what they want to say, I feel like your emotions might likely be over exaggerated, you may be overly sensitive, even particularly with all of that energy that we have in Pisces. So again, Monday is going to be the day where you really want to Be aware of how you're reacting to things, of what you're saying to people, of how you feel in certain relationships, because things can get heated, things can get, reaching the boiling point at any given moment. It's a day of surprises. It's a day of expecting the unexpected in either good or bad ways. Because again, even though we've got the sun square Pluto, we do have Venus sextile Uranus. So it's expecting the unexpected, like a pleasant surprise even, okay? So the day, it's definitely a mixed bag, all right? So definitely want to be present, and you definitely want to be cognizant of how you're reacting and the things that you're saying, okay? So I almost forgot to mention at the beginning of this that if you want to know what the week holds in terms for your particular sign, sign up for my newsletter, because in addition to giving this live every Sunday, I also send out the weekly Astro guides, which gives you a breakdown of what each sign can expect. So you can find that link in the description box below, because again, these lives just talk about the general astrology for the week. But if you want an even more breakdown, a further breakdown of what you can expect, sign up for my newsletter. Again, link is in the description box below. All right. So that was Monday. So now let's get into Tuesday, as Tuesday is sort of the star day of the week, because that's when we have the sun moving into the sign of Taurus. And you'll see that here. If you look towards the right bottom side of your screen, you'll see the sun in brown, and it's at 0 degrees Taurus. And that signifies the beginning of Taurus season, okay? And Taurus season is a very sort of realistic, down to earth season where we are really focused on building things of value. We're focused on material things. We're focused on our 5 senses. That's why I sort of entitled this video Sensory Overload, because we've got Monday, which has a mixed bag of emotions. And then we have the sun moving into Taurus, which is all about our 5 senses. So we're going to be feeling a lot this week, but not in the traditional, like, emotional sense, right? We're going to be feeling things on, a very sort of physical sense, because that's the essence of Taurus. And then again, with Sun square Pluto, we're going to be feeling a lot of emotions as well. So a lot going on. But yeah, so Taurus is notorious for being stubborn. And like I said before, if you have anger or any sort of emotions that you're holding on to that you don't release before Tuesday, you're going to go into Taurus season sort of simmering in that. Okay? Because Taurus likes to hold on to things. Taurus is a very receptive sign, receptive to the things around it. A lot of us are going to be concerned with things like security, determination, plans, making plans, and actually putting in the work to get things done. That's sort of the essence of Taurus season. Some other things that are characteristic of Taurus are things like loyalty, but loyalty in a sense to what you're already comfortable with and what you're familiar with. It's not about sort of experiencing new things. Taurus is a sign that's concerned with things that are tried and true, things that you're familiar with. Taurus represents our comfort zone. So a lot of us are going to be seeking comfort and security in this season of Taurus. And that has a lot to do with our material possessions, our assets, and particularly our money. Money is a big thing during Taurus season. If you're familiar with Wall Street, they have that big bull on Wall Street, and that is the essence of Taurus season. So our finances, our material possessions really come to the forefront of our thoughts when the sun is in Taurus, because we're concerned about being comfortable. We're concerned about our security in a very practical sort of way, because Taurus is an earth sign, okay? One of the other things that comes up with the sign of Taurus is possessiveness. So if we're talking about material things, amassing material things, amassing assets is something that we become concerned with during Taurus season. And again, Taurus is also considered very stubborn. So being very rooted in what we think, being very rooted in what we have, materialism, status, even to a certain extent, are also concerned with the sign of Taurus. So these are all the things that our consciousness and our focus is going to be directed toward, because the sun is going to be in the sign of Taurus. And again, that's for the next month, but that kicks off on Tuesday. All right. So now let's move on to Wednesday. And Wednesday, we still have this energy of Sun square Pluto. We still have all that Uranus with Mercury and Venus energy. But the only thing that's going on Wednesday is that the moon is going to be moving into the sign of Capricorn. Moon in Capricorn, I'm not going to say is completely devoid of emotion, but our emotions take a back seat to our need for structure, for planning ahead. It's like we become very much aware emotionally of what we need to do to get ahead, what structures we need in our lives. And so we're not overly emotional about it. We take a more methodical and practical approach to those things. And so with the moon, actually the moon being in the waning gibbous phase in the sign of Capricorn on Wednesday, it's all about getting rid of the things that aren't going to get you structured. Okay. And of limitations in our lives. Like Moon in Capricorn can feel a little stifling. It can feel a little heavy because on the one hand, you're like motivated to be successful and you're thinking about what you need to get ahead. But you're also aware of what limitations may be standing in your way. So when the moon is in Capricorn, it's a bit of a sobering, almost even a little depressing because you want to get ahead, but you're like, I need this to do that, or I currently can't do this, or I don't have enough money. And so that's sort of the vibe that you're living in when the moon is in Capricorn. It's also about being resourceful. So it's about working with what you have. So even though you may feel limited, let's say by time, by age, by money, by status, you're sort of able to work with what you've got. And in doing so, that's what's going to be able to get you ahead and get structured. Okay. So that's sort of a practical way that you can deal with the moon in Capricorn energy. Okay. Yeah, like I said, it can be sobering, somewhat depressing because, again, you're aware of those limitations. But, what is the phrase? Something about like inventing comes from necessity, right? Like you invent things because a lot of times it's necessary. And that's sort of how Moon in Capricorn works. It's like you're able to sort of invent something new out of the resources that you currently have. Okay. Career becomes a very big thing with Moon in Capricorn too, especially from an emotional vantage point, because this is where you're motivated by success, by manifestation, by having things, particularly as it relates to your career. So I feel like the middle of the week by Wednesday, it's a really good day to assess where you are in terms of your career, your work, your business. All of that stuff is really great stuff to think about when the moon is in Capricorn. All right. So let me just show you the chart real quick. Again, so we've got the moon in Capricorn at 0 degrees on Wednesday. Let's see, is it making any aspects? Oh, it's going to be trine to the sun. So you're going to be, again, I said that with the moon in Capricorn, you're very much aware about where you want to go. You're aware about your career. You're aware of the need for structure in your life. And with the sun in Taurus, trine to the moon in Capricorn, I feel like you're going to be able to really think about these things as well. It's like your thinking and your emotions are going to work harmoniously in order to get you to where you need to go. So Wednesday is a great day to be productive. It's a great day to plan out your future and take action steps in order to get that structure together. Because again, Sun in Taurus is all about putting in the work, building the foundation, right? So you're going to want to get to work on Wednesday because your emotions and your mind are going to be working harmoniously to get you ahead, all right? So that's a tip for Wednesday. All right. So next up, we've got Saturday. So on Saturday, the moon is going to be moving into Aquarius. So when the moon is in Aquarius, it's like you're attracted to things that are new and unusual. And you have this instinctual need for improvement. So like I just said, from Wednesday to Saturday with the moon in the sign of Capricorn, and again, it is going to be trine to the sun, you're going to be able to take action steps and to structure yourself, right? And then when the moon moves into Aquarius, it's like you're going to realize what you need to do to improve yourself or improve your career, improve your life, in any way, shape, or form. Okay. And again, it's not an overly emotional placement for the moon. Actually, when the moon is in Aquarius, it can be very emotionally detached. So the good thing is if you use this energy, particularly from Wednesday, right? When the moon enters Capricorn, I feel like you're not going to have all of this emotional energy in the way that's not going to allow you to see things clearly. To the contrary, I feel like your mind and your emotions are working together to get you where you need to go. And you're not going to be overly swayed by anything, overly emotional, emotionally disturbed. Like your emotions are going to sort of sit quietly in the back seat while your mind sort of is in the driver's seat, okay? Which is a really good thing. Moon in Aquarius is also about personal freedom. And again, I mentioned before that we're in the waning gibbous phase of the moon. So this is about getting rid of stuff that you don't need, right? And so in order to be personally free and autonomous, you may need to do some of that. So any of those bad habits that are sort of tying you down to a structure that doesn't serve you, anything that keeps you tied down or like less than independent or dependent on someone or something, you're going to want to examine that because definitely by the weekend, you're going to feel this energy of wanting to be free, of wanting to be untethered. Okay. So anything that prevents you from feeling that way, you might want to discard. Aquarius is also about groups, being part of a group, joining a group, or trying something new. So, group projects will definitely thrive over the weekend. So, you're definitely going to want to do something with a group, maybe start a new project, perhaps try something new. If you're looking to have some fun and relax over the weekend, do it in a group setting because I feel like your emotions are really going to be craving that in a sense. So this isn't necessarily the weekend to be just all by yourself and doing something, on a solitary sort of vibe. This is going to be the weekend, and I'm talking about next Saturday, right? This is going to be the weekend where you're going to want to do things in a group or a group setting. All right. So let's take a look at the Saturday chart so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so we've got the moon in Aquarius. You'll see that at the left side of your screen, 0 degrees Aquarius. Now it's going to be square to the sun, okay? So even though it's almost like this dichotomy between being untethered, right? Because like I said, moon in Aquarius is about feeling untethered. It's about personal freedom, okay? That's how your emotions are going to feel. But your thoughts and your consciousness are really going to keep you grounded in what you're already familiar. So you might feel this tug of war on Saturday between, listen, I want to do this for myself, feeling free and feeling free to express yourself and do what you want to do. But your thoughts are like very grounded in what you already know and what you're comfortable with. So there's going to be, again, this sort of friction between doing you, venturing out and doing something new, and sticking with the tried and true. Okay, so the best way to sort of work through this transit on Saturday, I would say just go out and have fun. Go out and have fun with friends. I feel like your friends and the people that you associate with are going to get you to sort of break out of your habit. They're going to get you to not be so tethered and do it in a way that's sort of comfortable. So it's not like it's not going to be something that's going to be shocking to the system. I feel like your friends and those people around you are going to get you to broaden your horizons, think and experience new things. And that's what's going to allow you to feel a sense of personal freedom. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Okay. All right. And so finally, we get to Sunday. And on Sunday, we've got two aspects going on. We've got Mercury square Saturn, and we have Mercury sextile Neptune. So you'll see, where is Mercury right here? Okay, at the bottom of your screen, you'll see Mercury, which is not too far from the sun. Mercury is the little purple guy with the little horns. That's going to be at 23 degrees Taurus. And that's going to be square to Saturn, which is going to be on the left side of your screen, which is going to be at 23 degrees Aquarius. So those two are going to be square to each other. And that same day, we have Mercury sextile Neptune, same Mercury, little purple guy, at 23 degrees Taurus, which is going to be sextile to Neptune at 24 degrees Pisces. That's the light blue trident looking thing by the left side of your screen, okay? That's pretty much the chart for Sunday. All right, so Mercury square Saturn is really about hard mental work, okay? Even though it's a Sunday, right? And Sunday typically should be a day of rest. This is sort of the day that you're going to want to think of a master plan, okay? Where you're going to sort of be by yourself and really think about things, particularly things that may be tough for you to think about or tough for you to execute, okay? It's not necessarily a day of doing, it's more so a day of thinking, okay? So just keep that in mind. But in doing so, you may have to work through some negative thoughts. Especially if you have a lot of negative self-talk with respect to anything that you're trying to achieve, I think that Sunday is going to be the day where you actually confront those demons, or you have the opportunity to, okay? This may also come in the form of like a conversation with someone who may be older than you or an authority figure. I feel like any sort of conversations you have with that type of person or that person in particular may be a little difficult because it's also going to be prone to misunderstanding. So I feel like any sort of conversations you have with an authority figure or an elder on Sunday can be a little difficult, okay? Take your time in speaking because still we have that energy of Mercury conjunct Uranus, which may also contribute to misunderstanding and jumping to conclusions. So take your time, really think before you speak, and that should definitely help you out. If you have to make any important decision around that time, take your time with that as well, because this transit is also prone to misunderstanding and jumping to conclusions. So you don't want to make an important decision really fast without really thinking it through. So Sunday, again, it's a day for thinking. And if you have to have a conversation with someone, really think about it before you do. And if you have any important business decisions to make or negotiations, you're going to want to seek the help of a trusted professional. So if you need to speak to a lawyer, if you need to speak to an accountant or anything like that, you're definitely going to want to do it over the weekend, particularly on Sunday, okay? Let's see what else we have here. Sunday can be sort of a sobering, again, sort of transit. Anytime you have Saturn in the mix, things tend to be a little sobering or a little depressing. This is not the day where you're going to want to have some sort of lovey-dovey or even serious conversation about love, because it can be a little less than lovey-dovey. It can be a little difficult. Negative thoughts may creep in, which may cause you to say things you don't mean. Not a great day for a lot of love and stuff. So Sunday is going to be a day where you're going to want to sort of chill by yourself, get your mind right, and get your thoughts in order. And that's even more so with the presence of Mercury sextile Neptune, because that particular transit, which is also happening on Sunday, it's about creativity and spiritual pursuits. Particularly, Sunday is a good day for napping. With the presence of Neptune, a lot of information can come to you via dreams or via meditation. So Sunday is a real good day to chill. So if I were to sum up the weekend, I'd say Saturday is a good day to chill with friends, be in a group setting, but Sunday is a great day for quiet time, for napping, for resting, for meditating, for any spiritual pursuits, because I feel like you can get a lot of messages that way. It's also a great day to be creative. So again, if you're in the creative industries, if you're an artist, poet, musician, Sunday's a great day to actually engage in creative endeavors. Write songs, especially with Mercury conjunct Neptune. It's a great day for writing, like creative writing, poetry, music. So Sunday's a day when you're just going to want to chill and be in your creative bag, because everything is going to the astrology is going to be in your favor. It's going to be working in your favor on that day. It's not a good day for studying or doing anything technical, because Neptune is all about dreams and fantasies. So let's say you have your own production company. Sunday is a great day for script writing, but it's not a great day to do any business plans or contracts or anything like that. Sunday is a great day for creativity and seeing the big picture of things. All right. Vivid dreams that day. So this is a day that you're gonna want to nap. You're gonna want to sleep in because again, I feel like you're gonna get a lot of messages from the spiritual realm, a lot of messages from your dreams. Okay, it's also a great day to escape via things like movies and music. So doing anything related to those things. And it's interesting because I know that this past weekend was Coachella. Next weekend is Coachella. Sunday, next weekend, Sunday going to be, I feel like it's going to be great for something like Coachella because with Mercury conjunct Neptune, it's all about listening to music. It's all about escaping. So I feel like next week at Coachella is really going to be lit, particularly that Sunday. All right. And I don't know about you, but I was not able to attend, but you can always watch it on YouTube. Like any of the performances, I feel like they put it up on YouTube almost immediately afterwards. So if you're into music festivals, I would definitely check out Coachella because it's always lit. But next Sunday, I feel like it's going to be extra lit given the astrology. Okay. All right. So that pretty much sums up the week. Like, again, it's a really mixed bag of stuff. We've got the beginning of the week being very emotional. Then we have the sun moving into Taurus, and our thoughts are really concerned with building things of value and, all of those Taurus, dependable, sort of earth, practical kind of things. And then by the weekend, we've got the opportunity to sort of dream and relax a little bit with the presence of Neptune. Okay. So, yeah, that is the week in a nutshell. I sincerely hope that you guys were able to get at least something in terms of what this week holds. I hope that this was clear for you, that you were able to understand what I was talking about. And again, if you're new to astrology, definitely download my astrology basics cheat sheet. It'll help you understand these videos a lot more and help you get a strong foothold into the world of astrology. All right. So, as always, it is a privilege and a pleasure to bring this information to you. I wish you a wonderful Resurrection Sunday, Easter, Ramadan, Passover, depending on no matter what you celebrate. I hope that today is a beautiful, glorious, and transformational sort of day. I wish you the best for this coming week. Again, I do these weekly astro forecasts live on YouTube every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can always feel free to tap in and get your astrology life together. All right. Again, privilege and pleasure to bring you this information. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.